going on, everybody? Welcome back to Chuds BBQ. My name is Bradley Robinson, and today I'm going to show you how I made these beautiful, delicious, smoky, direct heat, tasty lamb ribs. Coming up! One request I get on this channel more often than not is to cook more lamb, but unfortunately lamb is not very popular here in the United States. And the first lamb video I did was a beautiful rack of lamb cooked over live fire, and it's one of my favorite things I've cooked on this channel. But unfortunately, it's also my least popular video by far. So for the past few months I've been trying to appease the YouTube algorithm by staying away from lamb, but no longer will I be shackled by the man. That's right folks, today we're going to be cooking some lamb ribs, and it is going to be delicious. These are some lamb ribs. I got these from my friends over at Porter Road, so if you can't find these in your local grocery store, Porter Road is a great place to look. Now, a lot of people think they don't like lamb because of that gamey flavor, but there's a few ways to get around that. First and foremost, that gamey flavor comes in the form of BCFAs, which is mostly found in the fat of lamb. So choosing leaner cuts or trimming the fat away can really help reduce that gaminess. Another pro tip is to figure out where your lamb comes from. Down in New Zealand and Australia, all the lamb is grass-fed and grass-finished and has a much higher concentration of the BCFAs in the fat, and therefore is going to be a lot gamier. Where lamb like this that comes from the United States is grain-finished, much like a cow. So the meat has a lot less gaminess and is a little bit sweeter. As for trimming these up, there's really not much to do. It's just like any other rack of ribs where it's got this skirt meat on the back, which we're gonna take off. Nothing to it. Really thin. Throw that on the grill for a little snacky poo. And sometimes these have the chine bone on there still. This one seems like it's pretty much gone. Just go through and remove that. That'll make it a lot easier to slice these into individual bones at the end. Heavy knife comes in handy. And just like that, these are ready to hit with some seasoning. Another pro tip I've heard about dealing with the gaminess is to add a lot of really bold flavors to lamb to help kind of mask that gaminess, but also lamb has such an intense flavor to begin with, you can really get away with adding a lot more flavor to it, as opposed to something like beef or pork where you really want the meat to shine on its own. So I'm gonna go around and hit this with some mustard, which is gonna cook on really nicely, especially the way we're gonna cook them today. And then we're gonna hit it with some chud rub. This is a real basic rub that I make. Pretty much salt, pepper, garlic, a few more spices in there. But it's got a lot of flavor to it, mostly savory, a lot of black pepper. And this will be for sale very soon. I did a test run of about 100 bottles the other day and it sold out really quick. So it's gonna come back very soon with some new branding and it's gonna be very exciting. So stay tuned for that. And as always, Patreon members will know first. Beautiful. Now lamb ribs do have this top piece of meat on there. I've always wondered if taking that off would be a smart move, but that's an experiment for another day. Today we're gonna just cook these as is. Give it a nice rub down. Apparently that mustard acts like an antioxidant too and really helps with the more intense gamey flavors. That's why I'm going straight mustard as opposed to thinning it out with hot sauce or pickle juice or something like that. Nice, even, heavy coating all the way around. Like I said, chud rub is pretty pepper heavy, so you can go on with a lot of it without worrying about over salting it at all. And that is looking just about perfect to me, and as always, do not forget the sides. All right, we're gonna let these chill out for a little bit while we get our fire started. There's a snake in my boot. We got this mini chud box rocking it at about 300 degrees, which is usually where I like to rock this thing. So we're gonna go ahead and throw on our beautiful looking lamb ribs. And we're gonna start meat side down. That way we can build up a really nice crust and a good amount of color while rendering all that fat. Probably an hour or so and we'll check back in. This video is brought to you by Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of classes and courses to help you explore your creativity and learn some new skills or hone the ones you've already got. No matter what you're into, whether it's photography, filmmaking, business, freelance, finance, you name it, there is a course for you. And unlike other online video platforms, Skillshare is designed for education, not just entertainment, so you can rest easy knowing that every course is taught by a professional in their field and is there to teach. Each class is about an hour long, very easy to navigate. You can take it at your own time. You can stop, pause, come back to it, and it really makes learning something new very easy and enjoyable. Another great feature of Skillshare is that they will send you classes based on what you've already watched and suggest new things that they think you'll like. For example, I just got an email from them suggesting a class that's coming out in a few days called Personal Branding 101, Creating an Undeniable Online Presence with Cindy Ramirez Fulton. That couldn't be more relevant to me because I'm currently in the process of doing some rebranding for the channel and the welding shop, but I have no idea what I'm talking about. So taking a 101 basics course I think will really benefit me. So if you're in the market to pick up some new skills or hone the ones you've already got, use my link in the description of this video to head over to Skillshare.com. The first 1,000 of you that do will receive a 1-month free trial to Skillshare Premium. Again, the link is in my description taking you to Skillshare.com. First 1,000 of you that click it will get a free 1-month Skillshare Premium trial. Thank you, Skillshare. After about an hour, let's see how these are looking. Oh yeah, that's what we're looking for, folks. Really nice color on there, that beautiful direct heat crust, nothing too dark. Oh, that's just a sight of beauty right there. Looking real nice, got some nice fat rendering going on. Nice and smoky too from all the lamb fat hitting the coals. And the reason we started bone side up is so now we can let it continue to cook from the underside. The bones are gonna protect that meat and we can start mopping these lamb ribs. And as I mentioned earlier, lamb's got a pretty strong flavor to it, so we can really get away with using a lot more fragrant spices than we would on beef or pork. So for our mop sauce today, we're gonna start out with 1 stick of butter. And yes, I am cooking this on my flat top because I didn't feel like taking it off. That's kind of nice. So then you're gonna go in with about half of a white onion, as well as a big handful of garlic. Just gonna let that cook down and get all beautiful for a little bit. Now that these are nice and softened, we're also gonna go in with some lemon juice, as well as some other flavors like some mustard seeds, some coriander seeds, a couple of black peppercorns, some cumin seeds, shot of Worcestershire sauce, red pepper flakes, a little bit of heat, and for some more acid, we're gonna go in with some vinegar. You can go with apple cider. I ran out, so I just went with some white vinegar today. And we're gonna let that come up to a simmer before adding in a whole bunch of herbs. Some rosemary, some oregano, some mint, and some thyme. And again, I'm just trying to make a really super flavorful mop sauce, unlike anything I'd ever use on pork or beef or anything like that. And I think all these bold, fresh flavors are gonna make for a really nice mop on the outside of these lamb ribs. That is smelling heavenly. Going with a little bit of paprika too for some nice color. Also just threw another lemon sliced up in there. And now we're just gonna thin it out a little bit with some beer of choice. Just add a little bit more volume. Beautiful. So now let's mop these ribs. This is definitely the funkiest mop sauce I've made in a while. Smells amazing. And you know the drill, folks. We're just gonna mop this onto the outside. It's gonna help soften up that nice crusty bark we formed. All these flavors are gonna cook onto the meat, as well as drip off and hit the coals, creating some wonderful, flavorful smoke. But oh my God, that just looks amazing. Something about mopping things on a direct heat pit. I tell you what, nothing better. All right, we'll let these cook away. Check back in a little bit. We're about 3 hours into this cook total. Been mopping for the last 30, 45 minutes or so, and these are looking good. Beautiful color on there, feeling nice and tender. Great color all the way around, pulling back from the bones. All good signs. Temping right around 200 degrees. So these are coming off. I'm gonna rest them in some foil until they cool down a little bit, and then we will slice on in. All right, let's see how these look. Oh, beautiful. Oh, the smell is fantastic. For all you lamb haters out there, come on, tell me that doesn't look good. I mean, come on. So I think it's time to slice on in. And also, before I do, if you are a fan of lamb, do me a solid, hit that subscribe button, like the video, drop a comment, so hopefully the YouTube algorithm and the world won't shun this video like my last lamb video. But without further ado, let's slice on in. Like always, I prefer going from behind. Yeah, remember that top piece of meat I was talking about in the beginning? That got a little tough, peeling off a little bit. Maybe I will remove that next time. But there we have it, a beautiful, juicy, super tasty looking lamb rib. I gotta try this real quick. Oh my God. Fat is rendered, nice and tangy. Mop on the outside really tastes great. That fat is nicely rendered, very juicy. Zero gaminess. But you know, it's just another beautiful, tender piece of meat. God, that was good. Clean off the bone. Can't go wrong with that. Beautiful. Guys, don't sleep on these lamb ribs. Look at that nice exterior, rendered, super tender, very juicy. Again, that top membrane is a little tough. A straight edge might be easier than the serrated, but beautiful. Nice little change up every now and then if you're always eating pork and beef. And again, this would be a lot harder if I didn't take out that chine bone in the beginning. There we have it, looking good. It has been too long since I had a beautiful rack of lamb ribs, I tell you what. And just like everything else, you can change that flavor profile to whatever you like. Some nice curry would be great, Mediterranean spices would be great. Again, that tang in that mop sauce is really coming through. It's super flavorful, very tasty. What doesn't look good about that? Again, I think separating this top muscle right here would help out a lot, because then instead of having this kind of crispy piece of meat on top, which is super tasty, but it would expose this fat, we get a little bit more fat render, and we'd probably get more of a bark like you see on something like beef. I think it's time for the official taste test. Alright y'all, and that is it. That is how to make some absolutely fantastic lamb ribs on the direct heat cooker. I highly recommend giving this one a try. And I know it's not a brisket, but you really should pick up some lamb ribs because they're great no matter how you cook them. Whether they're on the offset cooker, cooked over direct heat, or even thrown on the grill, they are always super tasty. And if you're skeptical about whether you like lamb or not, this is a great place to start because ribs are always good. But that being said, if you do give this recipe a try for yourself, be sure to tag me on Instagram at ChudsBBQ. I love to see what y'all are cooking. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, all that good stuff. Let me know down in the comments below what you want to see me cook next. Big shout out to all the Patreon members. Thank you for supporting Team Chud and allowing me to keep making these videos. And until the next time I see you, please go cook something outside. Peace!